Welcome to all my travelers out there. I am your host, Darren Beckett, and this is the Global Travel Podcast. For those who do not know my travel resume, I've been to 13 states, 15 countries on 5 different continents, but it is not about me. Here, we are giving you quality travel tips, insights, and recommendations on all the best destinations for ideas to enjoy your vacations. With that being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. We are all clear for takeoff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we reach our destination, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, click the bell, and if you could do me a huge favor, if you could go in the comment section below, type in the words, "I got my ticket," and at the end of the video, I'm going to come back, respond, and see how your experience went with us, all right? So with that being said, on today's episode, we are taking a trip to Colombia. So make sure you got your passports, your earphones, and something to snack on. We have a great guest here for you today. But before I introduce them, let me just say this. Every time I'm on IG, I'm always looking at this cat. He's always in another country, in another state, doing this thing. As a matter of fact, not just in another country, but living, not just visiting, but living in another country. So he knows what he's talking about. He's been to 30 different states, 20 countries. So pay attention. If you want to go to Colombia, this is for you. Without further ado, let me introduce you to Benjamin Fanjoy. What's going on, brother? How you doing today?
Yo, what's up, Darren? Good to see you.
Likewise. I see you to move first. You was living in another country before Colombia. Where were you living before?
Yeah, last year I was in Taiwan during this whole pandemic thing, and then before that I was also in China. So the last 2 years,
okay,
overseas. Yeah,
just traveling, man, and that's cool. So tell our travelers, our listeners out there, tell them a little bit about who you are, where you from, where you live, what you do for a living, X, Y, and Z.
yeah. So I grew up in New Jersey until I was about 18, and then when I was 19, I guess I moved to San Diego. That's where I ended up meeting you, obviously, in SD, and yeah, and then I've traveled around the States a bunch now. I lived in Miami for a bit in my car, actually, like in 2017. And then 2018, I went to China, and I was in China for like a year. You know, I lived in Beijing and Shanghai and teaching English overseas. And then I transitioned to Taiwan because I thought Taiwan might be a better alternative. You know, it's an island off the coast of China, even though China still claims it as its own, but it's a separate country and has different laws, a more lenient government. And yeah, it was cool for a while, but then after a bit, I was like, okay, I'm pretty tired with this too. And now I've wanted to get out of Asia, and I'm traveling a bit through South America. I haven't come up with my plan yet. I've been here in Colombia for about 3 weeks. I'm enjoying it. There's like things I like and things maybe I don't like. So that's why I'm like going through it right now. But the foreigners I've met here have been awesome. You know, there's a lot of like more awakened people than you will find back in the States. Even some of the people here, you know, they talk about how much it sucks in the USA. Like, it fucking sucks, bro. Yeah. So that's what's happening.
That's funny. Yeah, man. When you go to different countries, man, you get different experiences. So I definitely like that. And then far as your travels in the United States, what states you said East Coast, you said New Jersey, born and raised in New Jersey? Yep.
Yeah.
So tell us about New Jersey. I don't think we heard too much about New Jersey. What is it to do, see, eat? What do you recommend our folks to do in New Jersey?
You know, I guess it's a small state, but still a big state. Like, because I'm from outside of Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. So there's a whole bunch of shit obviously to do there. If you like, my bad, I'll try not to curse on here.
No, you good.
If you like Philadelphia, if you like the historical perspective, you know, because I'm into that. That's the only part I'm really into. I'm not into the modern day, like, stuff that the city has turned into and stuff, really. But like the older stuff and Independence Day and Constitution being signed there, the Liberty Bell. If you're into that stuff, you could go see that stuff in Philadelphia. In New Jersey, where I'm from, it's about 20 minutes outside of Philly, but it's just suburbs, bro. It's just a bunch of suburbs. So it's not really my style. Maybe if you're raising a family or something, but it's still expensive in that area. Mm-hmm. And then the northern Jersey, you know, you can go to New York if that's your thing. It gets a little bit more what's the word? Not maybe overpopulated. That might be the word. A little bit more crowded. If you go up further, and yeah, and obviously New York is there. So, and there's some stuff like the Jersey Shore and all this other stuff that gave New Jersey like a bit of reputation and stuff. But there's a lot of stuff to do, I guess, you know, if you're into that, the whole thing. So
right. Yeah, I've never been to Jersey. Definitely one of the places I want to go. Been to New York, so I know that's pretty close by. Probably should have hopped over, but you know, didn't. But one day I go. As far as what to eat, what is it? If you guys got like a good little spot to eat, or a certain type of food, or what you guys got over there?
Yeah, I don't know if we have like a special thing for South Jersey. I think like hoagies, you know, like deli meat and this type of thing is kind of popular. Some of the Philly cheesesteak or chicken cheesesteak things are popular. There's a lot of Italian people, obviously, there. That's probably what I would say. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you've been to a lot of states, man. I know a lot of folks. We already know a lot about the New Yorks and the Californias and Floridas and Texas and whatnot. What about some of the off-beaten path states, the states that's not so popular that folks don't know about or go to?
That's a good question. I feel like most of my travel has been either on the East Coast or the West Coast, and all the states in between are pretty garbage. But just bison out there and Buffalo and stuff.
Right. What about the East Coast? What states did you travel to the East Coast?
You know, I've been to all of them, I think, on the East Coast, basically. Like this might be something different, I guess. My grandparents have a house in Maine, which is like it's like a 10-hour ride from Jersey. And it's like really out in the middle of fucking nowhere. And yeah, it's cool to just get away and then maybe chill on the lake. And you know, it's a lake house, and you know, there's less light pollution. There's less people there, obviously. You can go canoeing, you can go fishing. There's mountains nearby that you can hike. It's good for a getaway. It's not like my parents have been going to it over and over and over again, just like the rest of the family. But I'm like, nah, it's not that exciting.
What about like seafood? I hear lobster is good in Maine. Is that the case?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, man, I don't know. You could just go to the market. I don't remember ever actually picking them out and shopping, but you know, you pick them out, and then I'm not sure the deals and stuff, you know, like Bangor is like the closest, biggest city there, which Maine only has like 1 million something people, I think. So it's not even that big, but yeah, there's a lot of lobsters and they're good, you know, cook them up, have some fires and stuff.
Cool. What about give me some other states on the East Coast. I haven't really traveled through the East Coast too much extensively. So what else you got over there?
I'll say probably I went to Hilton Head, I think it's South Carolina. It might be North Carolina, I forget. It's actually close to one of the colleges there. I forget which one, but I went there actually when I was in high school with like my girlfriend at the time and her family, some of her family. That was a cool getaway spot too, but probably actually maybe not for like if you're trying to meet a bunch of people. It might be a little bit more. It's like mid-level traveled. Maybe it's not like super traveled if you're trying to socialize and party. But it was a good little getaway spot. There's lots of there's like crocodile or alligators and you know, just walking through the streets sometimes. It was cool. Yeah,
that's crazy, man. I've heard about that happening in Florida and whatnot, so that's pretty crazy. And then what about the West Coast? Of course, you've been, you know, Cali, of course. What are some of the states that you like over here on the West Coast?
Yeah, I've actually never went to Oregon or Washington yet, so that's still on my list. I'm not gonna go now, but at the present moment. But I always liked LA because there's a lot to do and see. So that has like a certain energy in the city that I like, you know. San Diego, I liked San Diego for a while, but I think long term, I didn't think it would be a good like spot to mesh up with me, or at least at my current stage. So I'm looking to travel to places that kind of like have people that are like off beaten track too, with their lifestyles and stuff, and inspiring to me as well. Obviously San Diego has that, but like I don't know. I just say I find it more overseas. So that's why I've had more of a interest now getting abroad and stuff.
Right. Yeah. So how did you so we always talk about on this show our how we get bit by the travel bug, so to speak. So what was your first trip like? What was it? Tell us that story from beginning to end. Your first trip that you got bit by the travel bug, so to speak.
Yeah, okay. I think actually, well, I'm just happy how my life turned out anyway. Like, cause in high school I had a friend that he was like the last person maybe you would expect to like move to San Diego and then do that as a thing, but that's what he was doing. And like, cause I remember seeing on the wall like places people were going to, colleges, and like all of them were just, to me it just looked generic and nothing inspiring, because obviously I have like a dreamer mindset and I want to be inspired in my life. So I didn't really know this. I don't have anyone to help me either, but it was the only one. It said San Diego State University. That's where he was going. I was like, oh, that's cool, because everybody dreams of California. People from other countries and stuff, they have a vision of this, Hollywood, LA, whatever. So that was like the initial thing. I don't think I had like the bug yet. It was just like I ended up being able to stay there. And then in 2016, I felt like I was done being in San Diego and I should try something new. And like my MMA coach at the time, he suggested like, oh, you should go to Thailand and do some Muay Thai and travel and stuff. And then that was basically it. I like went back to New Jersey and I worked for a bit and saved some money. And then I traveled to Thailand, Southeast Asia. So I saw like Singapore, Malaysia, Cambodia, Thailand. There's maybe one other I forget, but yeah. So that was it, man. Because then I met a bunch of people and saw a bunch of different things, and like it was a good travel for like some transformation. Like, because you stay in the same place too long, you get stuck and you start to stagnate, and you're not developing as much anymore. So it was a good like burst of energy, and like okay, now I want to find out something else I could do overseas. So that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I like that. And then do you travel alone a lot with friends and groups? How do you travel? What's your travel arrangements be like?
Nah, dude, I'm solo. I've never gone on a trip with someone. I've met people, like different people from different places, and then we traveled from location to location. It almost not always turned out badly. There's people, I forget. I know you're into some of the motivation stuff. Who is this? Maybe it's Jim Rohn or someone. He says there's 2-minute friends, 2-hour friends, and 2-day friends. But you have a great conversation for 2 minutes, and you're like, all right, see you later.
Yeah.
But one of the people at least I met, I suggested him that he could come on and talk to you, Alberto. He's actually Romanian originally, but he lives in Milan, Italy now. I met him in Thailand and we traveled a bit, and that was a good time, because you want to find someone on the same page in terms of whatever you're trying to do. Like, he's big into photography and videography, so he was passionate about that, but it was also about meeting girls and meeting new people. So like the whole experience. But no, bro, I go solo, and I don't think anyone I've actually met has been up for the experience. I always have one friend that he talks about it, like, oh, I'm gonna do this with you, and then he always disappears. Like, I'm like, all right, bro.
That's what happens. Yeah, that's what and that's what happens. See, when you travel solo, man, you don't get disappointed because when you travel in groups, you always got folks who they talk about, oh yeah, let's go here, let's go there, and then when it's time to put in the moves and make the actions, they like, oh, see what happened was, and you get a whole bunch of stories of why they can't go anymore. So it's like, all right, cool, man, you just wasted all that energy and hype for nothing. So that's actually the reason why I've started traveling alone a lot, because I had a lot of my friends who we talk about it, and when it's time to make the move, all right, deposits due and money is due, and everybody like, all right, oh, see what happened was. So I'm like,
right.
Oh. So you still go, you enjoy it, you know, you're on Instagram, they see you, they just, I guess they live vicariously through you or what have you. So, I mean, that it is what it is. So, for what's your purpose? Why do you travel as much as you do? What do you gain from it?
That's a good question. I think like it's kind of more like personal development and spiritual growth. You know, I want to see the experiences firsthand. Um, in China, they have an old saying that it's better to travel 10,000 miles than to read 10,000 books. And I would say I do both. You know, I read and I travel, but I want to get the firsthand experience. Like I just picked up, I don't know if you heard of this probably, Marco Polo Travels, you know, his book from like 1200, 1300. I started to read that a little bit because he's like the OG of backpacking. Because I forget where he started, like in Turkey or somewhere, and he apparently traveled like the Silk Road or the Silk Path into China and India and all this stuff. But I do it because I want the experience. I don't want I don't want to be afraid of anything. I want to be able to go to a place and then continually expand my comfort zone. You know, your comfort zone expands to here, and then you lean on your edge and you expand it to here again. And you continually do this so that nothing like fucking phases me anymore, you know, or at least as much as I can make it. Not in some kind of crazy way with like getting into fights or with guns or something, which that would be good to have as well, I guess, to be comfortable. But you know what I'm saying? It's like the growth purpose. And I feel that eventually, you know, success is what you attract by who you become, you know? So there's a lot more opportunities open. There's a lot more networking abilities. There's, you know, it's like endless. So that's it.
Yeah, definitely. I like that. I like that a lot. You definitely want to grow. In traveling, you can't help but grow. You know, you can't help but expand your mind. And once you expand your mind, it can't go back. So traveling, it will open up your mind and give you a global perspective. And then you probably, you know, I think you be a better citizen in society just from traveling. You learn a lot about yourself, like you said, personal development. And you know who you become familiar of who you are, what you like, what you don't like, X, Y, and Z. So it's really rewarding, eye-opening, and transformational, spiritually speaking as well. So as far as some of the places that you've been in internationally, China, let's talk about China for a little bit since you lived there. How was China? What was that about? How was that like?
Yeah, it was cool, man. I went in 2018 and I went to Beijing first. And I don't know if my fears surrounding it, you know, you always have fears going to some place. Not too many people said like, oh, you're going to get your kidneys cut out and stolen. Not too many people said that. But I went and it's just, you know, it's just Asian people everywhere. It's like, it is kind of being like on another planet in a sense, if you're not used to being in some other place.
Culture shock.
Yeah. But I worked at like for 2 months in Beijing doing this, like I was making videos for this company for teaching English. It was going to be like on an app. I don't know whatever happened to it. Like I was going to be the actor on the app, but they were kind of like a little bit lackluster with their, which I think Chinese Asians in general, they lack a little bit of management in their corporations or in their jobs. So it was a little bit lackluster. So after 2 months, I was like, okay, I'm going to move on. And I went down to Shanghai. But I traveled a bit first. Like I saw some of the cities. I did Kung Fu at the Shaolin Mountains, the Shaolin temples. So that was a cool experience too. And then I lived in Shanghai for like 10 months. And yeah, it's an interesting city because they had like previously during World War I and World War II and stuff, they had different cultures. They had the British and also the French occupying and controlling. They even had like the Japanese for a while. So it was like a bit of a mixture there. But long term, I didn't like it because I felt the foreigners were a bit too cliquey, like together. And like even just the energy of the Chinese people is a little bit too much like herd mentality because, you know, their government censors them a lot and stuff. And, you know, they control their information, so they control how they think. And it even controls like the emotions they can have. Having said that, though, I've stayed in touch with a number of girls and guys from China, foreigners and girls from China that are good people and stuff. But after a while, I was like, okay, I'm a little bit tired of this. I wanted something with more freedom because I like the American spirit, is feeling like a little bit like they don't have it here as much because they can't. So,
Right,
yeah.
right. So for traveling purposes, what do you recommend folks going to Shanghai or Beijing? What do you recommend them to do while they're there?
Yeah, I would definitely actually recommend it to travel. It would be cool. Beijing is less of a pretty city, in my opinion. It's less aesthetically pleasing because I think previously it was just mostly kind of like farmers trying to put food on their table type of thing. You could see some of the old stuff. They have like this Forbidden City. You could take a 2-hour ride to the Great Wall of China, which actually I didn't do because it was like in the dead of winter, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going. It gets fucking cold in China, in Beijing, definitely. And there's a lot of smog, so you might as well wear some kind of mask if you're gonna go there. In Shanghai, they have the older area. Yeah, it's called like the French Concession is one of the areas. They have the different names. And then like on the other side, they have the modernized area. I think the building is the second tallest in the world, the Shanghai Tower, and they have a Shanghai Financial Center. But it's really cool. They have some new infrastructure, and it's really pretty. That actual area called the Bund. What else can you do in Shanghai? There's always parties. As a foreigner, you get to go in for free at these places because they want to have for their business. They give you alcohol. I think a little bit's fake. It's probably fake, but on some level. But yeah, you can go and you can have a good time partying, and everything is by the phone basically. They have WeChat Pay. They scan everything, which is actually way more convenient. You can even pay like the street people with it like instantly. You don't have to wait 2 days or whatever to show up like instantly. So
that's cool. Yeah. They headed the game on that. Yeah, technology. I'm not surprised though. I'm not surprised when it comes to technology. And then real quick before we head to another continent, what about Taiwan? What's your what do you recommend to do in Taiwan? Eat, see, all that.
Yeah, I think it's probably a good place to travel for a bit. Yeah, like I said, long term, these places they're like I can't fit into the culture, and a lot of foreigners have a tough time integrating in because it's just too different. But in Taiwan, they also have a super cool building called the Taiwan. I'm forgetting the name. Taipei 101. This one's actually pretty cool. How it's built. Like it has like this. It's almost like a Asian style of like it builds on top of each other. And it was the tallest building. It was the tallest building until like 2010, 2004 to 2010. So that's a cool thing to go see. You could go up it and see a 360 view. There's a lot of mountains that are close, which I would recommend to go to one of them at least. The metro is super easy to use. You don't have to worry about safety really in any of these places either in Taipei or China, which is great. What else would I say? And there's a lot of good foods that you can go and eat there, and it's pretty cheap. Like, so.
Okay. What about Europe? Hey, have you what countries have you traveled in Europe?
In Europe, I just did like a trip in 2017. I did Spain, France. I did London, Paris, and then Spain, and then Portugal. So that was what I saw.
So what about the travel? Because I know it's easy to travel within Europe. Tell us about how the travel, transportation, how easy it is, or what methods to use is best. How can you travel along Europe, backpacking or whatever?
Yeah, I think actually like you can take the train to a lot of places. That wasn't my goal when I went there originally. I was like thinking I might want to teach English in Spain. That was my original plan, which I ended up like when I got there, I guess I changed my mind or something. I don't know. But the flights were pretty cheap, and I know they're cheap now. Like my buddy talks about flying from one place to another for like 10 euros, bro. He says that. But they have the rail pass, which in some cases is actually more expensive if the flights are that cheap. Right. So, but it's like if you pictured like the East Coast or something, it's more like going from like Massachusetts to like New York or something, and that's the next country. So it's closer.
Right. Yeah, and excuse me, in Europe, they have it's easy to travel. You can, like I said, do the train, you can do the a plane, very, very cheap. I would like Ryanair. If you don't know about Ryanair is one of the airlines in Europe. Is I would say it's equivalent to a Spirit or a Frontier. It's one of those budget-friendly airlines. If you have bags with you, you're going to pay for your bags on the bottom and the carry-on. The carry-on is a charge too. I don't know the exact charge of it. It was a little while ago, but yeah, you got to pay for your carry-on. But if you're traveling really light and you don't have much on you, then it's a good way to travel. Ryanair once again, and that's in Europe. And then, far as different places in Europe, Spain. Let's talk about Spain for a hot second. What do you like in Spain? What do you recommend? What are the food, people, X, Y, and Z?
Yeah, I liked a few cities. I liked Barcelona. I liked it's called Malaga, which is in the south, a beach place in the south, and then Ibiza, which is like the party spot, the Vegas of Europe over there. Barcelona was cool for like the architecture and buildings. They had some nice seafood. There's really hot girls there too. You know, they had the beaches. It seemed like a good energy when I was there. I only stayed a little bit, but I met a bunch of people because it has like a party type vibe as well. Although I think you have to be careful because it could be dangerous in different parts of it. Okay. This one dude from my hostel was telling a horror story about like he said the people from his hostel for the pub crawl, they were setting them up to get like pickpocketed. Like everybody lost their wallets and stuff at the end of the night. He ended up getting like drugged or something, and luckily he got out okay. Just some crazy stuff.
Right. You get stories when you travel, man. You get stories. I tell folks, man, if you travel, you definitely have stories. So it sounds like you do the hostel. I don't know if a lot of our listeners know that we've been talking about hostels on this podcast as well. So what's your take on hostels? Why you like hostels? Why do you do hostels? What's the pros? What's the cons?
Yeah, pros to the hostel is that you get to meet people that like you won't just meet if you're staying in a hotel by yourself, because how are you going to meet people if you're just in that hotel? You go outside. Maybe you can use an app like couch surfing or something, and they have a hangout section so you can meet some people that way. But I stay because like at this hostel I'm at here, like we have huge space. There's this whole building, the other building, they have a pool table here, some ping pong table. Like they've set it up to be an atmosphere to meet people. So it's super easy to just connect with people. If they're traveling too, it's easy to go do something. And plus, you know, like they have people that have been staying here at this hostel. So they've taught me a lot just by talking to them about the city, the layout of like this city and stuff. So that's the pro. The con could be that maybe it gets noisy or something. You still actually could get a private room in a lot of hostels though. So if that's your thing, you could do that. It depends. I'm more of like a budget traveler, I guess. You know, obviously it makes it harder if you want to bring a girl back to your place, because if you don't have the place to bring her back, you have to come up with some other plan. So that would be a con, bro.
True. Yeah. You better get you a single room if you by yourself and you planning on having some additional fun. But yeah, definitely. You're right though. Hostels, they're set up to provide a lot of travelers, like solo travelers, go to hostels, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, exactly.
if you travel solo and you're a woman or you're a man or whatever, just traveling solo, hostels are a great place to meet up with other travelers. You never know, you can meet someone from whoever country, and then you guys stay in touch for lifetime or what have you. So yeah, I always, if you're a budget traveler, I think hostels is the best way to go. There's other ways, there's cheaper ways as well, more budget friendly, which is, you mentioned it, couch surfing. What's your stance and what's your perspective on couch? Because I don't know if a lot of people know what couch surfing is and what it all entails. Share a little bit about what couch surfing is, pros and cons, and what that's all about.
Yeah, I have a limited experience for couch surfing. For the specific like function, it's an app, on the phone, and you can message people who are hosts in the area, and they let people come and stay with them. It could be on their couch. Maybe they have an extra bedroom. It's people that I guess they want other people to stay and meet people from another culture. Or, there's a lot of creepy guys there too. I'm sure that just staying, they want girls over in company. I don't have to worry about that. I have to worry about maybe the gay guys that want to invite me, and then like, so for me, I've actually never just directly stayed at someone's place, but I have had people that I've met on it, and then later, girls and guys, you know, they invited me to stay at their place. I guess for that though, I mean, they have like at least a reference thing, so you have some kind of like testimonial from someone, like, hey, this guy didn't kill me. He didn't drug me and, you know, throw me in the ocean.
Yeah. I think couch surfing is for those folks. I wouldn't recommend it for just like a single woman traveling. I don't recommend couch surfing. I mean, if you do couch surfing, I will probably say with another a woman, stay at a woman's house. So I mean, anything can happen, of course. It's just one of those risk things. And just like Ben said, what happens is folks, just like Airbnb, folks open up their homes. But the difference between Airbnb and couch surfing is a couple difference. One, couch surfing is free. It's open up. You don't have to pay anything. It's completely free. And then the second thing that's different is that the homeowner or the person living in the home is there while you're there. So like you mentioned, may have an open room with a bed and all that you can sleep in, may have a couch or may just have a pallet on the floor, but it's free. So if you really want to make it work, and you really, there's ways out there. It's called couch surfing. Okay, so it's like I said, it's completely free. If you want to go test it out, definitely. And I will also recommend, if you go that route, at least go with a pair or in a group. And like just if you can avoid it, go by like I said, other folks. And then after you get your experience and what it's like, then you can do it by yourself and see if that's for you.
Yeah.
But yeah,
On that point, my one buddy who's done it, I guess a bunch, I guess he'll do a video call, or at least he shows like his Instagram page or something, and then maybe they do a video call. I feel, maybe safe enough to do that if I felt the vibe is okay. If there's a creepy vibe, then no, of course. But if the other person is just another cool dude, it'd probably be okay.
Right.
Right.
All right, so we didn't touch some places in the United States. We didn't touch Asia, a little bit of Europe. Now we are heading to South America. We are officially landed in Colombia. Bienvenidos, welcome. So now that we have finally touched down in Colombia, Ben, man, you've been in for 3 weeks. You're now living there. Tell us about Colombia, the weather, the people, the food, X, Y, and Z. What you got for us?
Yeah, so I touched down in Cartagena. It's like the island city in the northeast, northwest. They have an interesting setup to their country, but it's not too far from Miami. It was just like a couple hours on the flight. I have a bunch of fears coming to South America for the first time and stuff. And in that city, Cartagena, it's like where I stayed was in the center of a castle. It was like a Spanish castle from the 1600s, because the Spanish had landed there and they were like the conquistadors, and they kind of conquested there. So it's safe in that area. Although to me, it was still a little bit like, I'm not sure. It's new to me. The street vendors were really aggressive, and like too aggressive, actually. Because they're hungry now too, and they have less travelers coming there. They're making less money. So this whole domino effect. But the actual hostel I stayed at was called Makako Hostel. It was run by these Argentinian people, and it was awesome. They were very welcoming and warm, and I met a bunch of other cool people. I met this dude from Miami who's been to Colombia so many times, and he was helpful with advice and stuff. The area that was like outside of the central area is the only other area I went to. It reminds me a lot of Miami, the same architecture and stuff, the kind of Latin feeling to it. And yeah, bro, it's a cool city. And then from there, I went to here where I'm at now, which is Medellin. And it's not the capital, but it's like the second biggest city, I think. It's like 2 million people. And I've heard that this was like the cooler city. Bogota is the capital city, which is bigger, but maybe the people are like more posh, or they have like a DC attitude because it's more the capital city feeling, which I don't vibe with. So yeah, but the people here in Medellin, they've been cool. I'm staying in this area called Poblato, which it just means like a populated area, I think, in Spanish. There's like a lot of homeless people here. So like the pros and cons, there's a bunch of homeless people here. There's a bunch of hookers here. The safety is good enough though in this area and some other areas. But the pro has definitely been, I met so many people here at the hostel I'm staying at here and gone to a bunch of places and had a lot of fun here. I don't know what else I can say. You could ask another question or something, but yeah.
What
so far.
about since you traveling in during the pandemic? What is there like any protocols with the COVID and pandemic happening since you're traveling? What's the protocol, if any?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of a pain to figure this stuff out, but there's enough. You can find it like Googling it or YouTube. Here I had to get like a PCR test to come to the country. And within like 96 hours, I think. Mm-hmm. That was it. I think they've even removed that restriction now. I think you can just come to Colombia now. Mm-hmm. Some countries want you to do that. I don't think they want to anymore. They have had some stuff, you know, they want you to wear your masks in different places. I haven't really worn it unless in a populated area or the police are there. Then you like cover your mouth.
Yeah. What about a visa? Do Americans need visas to go to Colombia?
No, you don't need anything. You just hop on that plane, you book that flight. What had happened was nothing had happened. Get on the flight.
Nothing had happened. That part. Get on. Man, that's real dope. What about, I know weather. I was in Cartagena and Bogota. In Cartagena, how's the weather? Is hot and humid? Did you experience that during the time that you there?
Super hot, bro. It's too hot, I think. You need an air conditioner, definitely, if you're living there, for sure.
Yeah. I had to leave. I went from there to Bogota, which is a complete opposite. Bogota's up in the mountains, and it is super cold, super chilly. I remember taking a shower. Man, they don't have no hot water, bro. At least where I was at, they didn't have no hot water. So I'm like, man, it's cold, and I'm taking a cold shower. So,
right.
Yeah. But I've heard a lot about Medellin. I heard that was the place to go in Medellin. What's the weather like out there?
It's pretty good. I think it's turning into summertime here, but it's been in like the 70s. Not too many days are that hot. Like I don't think it's been really over 80. I could be wrong. I'm not really sure. It's been good weather though. I haven't been like, you know, I haven't thought about the weather other than it rains a lot here currently. It rains a bunch, but other than that, it's cool. Yeah.
Because right now we enter in fall right now, so that means they are in their spring. So you guys are below the equator, so y'all in the springtime. So yeah, it's the opposite. When we in summer down there, you guys are in winter, and vice versa. So that's kind of how Colombia worked in comparison to the United States.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the food, what is the food like in Colombia?
Dude, it's great. I mean, I know you've been here, so you know. Like the Colombian food, they have these dishes. The one that I saw the first time was the bandeja paisa, which is like I don't even know what the meat was. It was a big slab of meat that was like cooked perfect. They had like a chorizo, which is it's like some kind of sausage type thing. They put the arepas, which is like, you know, the bread thing, and sometimes a lot of times they put meat in it too. And then they have like rice and beans on the dish, maybe some salsa. There's a lot of meat and then different types of meat, rice and beans, some vegetables. I should eat more vegetables here for sure because I don't think it comes in the dishes as much. But yeah, man, it's been delicious. It's a good change from Asia. So
yeah, definitely different in Asia, that's for sure. I know I don't know if you ever try, it's something called ahiaki. It's a soup. And it has like vegetables, potato, and like meat. I think chicken in it. Have you tried that or heard of that by chance?
I don't think I've had that yet.
Okay, yeah, definitely keep that on your radar. It's pretty good. If you're in, you know, soups and whatnot, pretty filling too, since it got meats and rice and all that other stuff in there. But yeah, definitely, man. Any places that you are looking to go while you're there? Some places that folks probably talked about that you should probably go do. Some foods you should eat or anything else?
I don't know. I really want to do the cable car. That was the only thing, which is like, you know, it takes you up. It was closed the day I went. I met this dude from New York when I was at this club, and we ended up going. But it was closed. We went to this place called Comuna Tresa, which I don't know if you heard of it, but there's a lot of like, yeah, what's up, bro? There's a lot of like, it's almost like I'm doing a podcast type thing, but I'll be done in a bit. Yeah. It's like it reminded me of Brazil almost, like the projects of Brazil. Like, but then when I saw inside their houses, I was like, no, they got like flat screen TVs in a lot of these places. So I'm like, maybe it's not so bad. But it's a dope view. Yeah, I posted a couple of pictures of that on my Instagram. But then there's like a cable car that can take you up and you see like the whole city, because Medellin is up in the mountains, or it's like in the center of it, and then like they build houses that go all the way up like this way. So it's pretty dope.
That is. Yeah. I liked how Colombia is set up, to be quite honest with you. I like the people, the food, because the food is natural. It's not like American was pumped with all that hormones and all that other
Right.
stuff in it. So I think it's more natural. So if you go to Colombia, it'll taste different. You may not even like it because it's natural. You may be so used to this chemically filled food that natural burger. Yeah. It may not be so good to your appealing. So yeah, that's just kind of what it is. And do you recall the airline that you took from Miami to Colombia?
Yeah, I took American Airlines. It was cool.
It was cool. Yeah.
No complaint. Yeah,
No
no.
complaints. Yeah, I know. I don't have like a preferred
Preference.
airline. Yeah, me personally, I don't know. Do you have a preferred airline you like to travel with?
I don't know. In Asia, I liked Air Asia. They had nice stewardess, what do they call them? Yeah.
Yep.
And nice like petite Asian girls that served you and stuff. But now a lot of them just look stupid because they look like from like Austin Powers when they're all dressed up in like the white stuff and like covered with the mask, and like, oh man, you ruined the airline, man.
And yeah, that's funny. What I know about Colombia, there's a story that a friend, I think last podcast or a couple podcasts ago, was talking about Colombia, how something happened in Colombia. So do you feel like it's a safe place for folks to travel, or certain places you recommend to stay away from?
I can only speak on my Cartagena and the Medellin. I haven't really been to too bad of areas. There's definitely some bad areas that you don't want to go. So have a understanding of that. Get a SIM card. Mine actually kind of like died the other day, so I got to get it fixed. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be stranded somewhere without any internet connection to like request an Uber or something if you need it. Don't carry like cards out there. Maybe just have some cash in your pocket. Leave your cards back locked up at your hostel hotel.
Right. And then speaking of, you mentioned Uber. What's the local transportation like? There's Uber in Colombia, so you can Uber. What's the other type of local transportation that you got?
It might be illegal. I'm not sure, or it might only be. Someone said it was only illegal to the airport, but then other people said it was just illegal, but they still have it. So they have that. There's another thing called InDriver, I think, which like I think basically Uber, but you can set a price how much you want to pay for the destination, and then the person accepts it or he doesn't. Or you can just take taxis, which is not that hard. They can use the meter. You just tell them to use the meter or ask for the price beforehand. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not too expensive, bro. It's cheap.
Right. Out of all the countries you could have went to in South America, why Colombia versus like Paraguay, Peru?
Well, yeah, I had to do it within the frame, obviously, of where we can travel to. But I had the idea of Colombia before. And that's where I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to stay here for a bit longer, or I was thinking to go to Peru. I thought it might be a cool place to get to. I guess I'm still a little bit nervous about traveling South America solo because my Spanish isn't like perfect at all yet.
Right.
You know.
Well,
but I love that.
Teach us some words, man, in Spanish, man. What you got for us?
Okay, I don't know. Like they say que chimba. It just means like dope or cool.
Okay. Yeah, dope. Say it one more time. I want to get that.
Que chimba.
Yeah.
Que
chimba. All right, cool. And I know they also say que chévere. Que chévere is another one. That's like also saying like
similar.
Yep. Okay. Cool, dope, que chévere. So yeah, man. With that being said, before we head on back to our home airports, anything else you would like to talk about Colombia before we head on back?
I don't know, man. It's been a good experience. You always have your like expectations or at least like your thoughts about a place beforehand. I'm definitely happy I came here because I got to see, and also I've been really happy with the foreigners that I have met here and the local Colombian people. So I'm happy I came here. I think there's a lot of potential here in the city and probably in South America in general.
Potential for what?
Potential for the future, like, because they've been a little bit, their economies I don't think they haven't like flourished yet, but if they're given the right means to do it, they could definitely do it. Because there's hardworking people here, and they're like, they're like street hustlers and stuff. If they learned how to like turn that into some kind of product in a different way, speak English and turn it into a product, like they could do a lot of stuff. So yeah.
And you said something about you had like I guess preconceived notions of what Colombia was like prior to going. What was your expectations that what Colombia was like versus the reality of when you arrived?
I don't know. It's hard for me to even think. I didn't have any positive or negative. It was just kind of like a little bit of a fear and excitement. I guess like the homeless side in the area I'm at, maybe that's kind of in my mind, and it's here, at least in the area I'm staying, which I don't like, because a lot of them like bug you a whole bunch, like just trying to eat a dinner. Like, come on, man, just go away. I already said no 3 times.
Persistent. They are persistent. That's what kind of happens sometimes when you travel. So it's a part of the travel journeys. And then, all right, ladies and gentlemen, and all my listeners out there, looks like we're going to have to wrap things up. We do have a flight to catch back home. So hopefully y'all got some good information of what to do, see, expect in Colombia. So that's pretty cool. And then as we head on back, we actually have one last segment, Ben. So I'm going to ask you, it's the lightning round, and I'm going to ask you a list of questions, and you have to answer them as fast as possible. Quick. All right. So you can only answer it in one-word answers. So no sentences or no long drawn-out answers, just one word for us. So let me go ahead and get ready. All right. Estoy listo. You ready, brother?
All right.
All right, question number 1. What is your favorite airline?
AirAsia.
What is your favorite hotel?
Don't have one.
What's your favorite? Oh, favorite hostel then? Yeah.
Not sure. Too many.
Your favorite cruise line?
Never done it, bro.
Your favorite state?
California. Your
favorite country?
That's tough, bro. I'll say Colombia right now.
And then what is your favorite hostel booking site?
Maybe booking.com.
Booking.com. Your favorite flight booking site?
Google Flights or Skyscanner.
Nice one. And then what is the one thing you must bring on all your trips?
Man, well, you need all you need, man, is passport, money, and some ways, some debit cards or something. Yeah, that's it.
You need currency is what it sounds like. Currency.
Yeah.
And then where do you want to go next?
I don't know. Maybe Peru. We'll see. Yeah.
All right. And then what other state? You've been in 3 states. What other state would you like to live in?
I'll have to check out Texas if I'm back in the USA, because that's the new spot.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then what other country would you live in?
I'm actually thinking about Indonesia, Bali, Indonesia for a bit.
Oh, that's different. And then last but not least, what is your favorite travel podcast?
It's got to be this one, my man Darren.
That's what I'm talking about, my brother. Hey, I always say, good answer. The Global Travel Podcast, as y'all know. And that was great, man. Much appreciated. I hope all my travelers out there, I hope y'all got a wealth of knowledge of what to do. Like I said, in Colombia, man, it's a lot to do out there and in the world in general. And then Ben, much appreciated for stopping by, showing love, man. Thank you.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, of course. And then also, if y'all want some more information, if y'all got some more questions that I haven't asked and you want to ask Ben himself, You can definitely follow him. I'm gonna put his Instagram or whatever information you got from me. I'll put all that in the video description so you guys can follow, ask more questions. And then also, I need your attention, your undivided attention, ladies and gentlemen. The plane is now descending, so I need you back into your seats, buckle up, trays up, in the seats in the upright position. So before we land, though, Ben, if you could do us a huge favor, if you can give us one last piece of travel advice before we land, what would that be?
Man, I'll just say book it and then do it. Just book your flight, go to the airport, get on the plane, do it. Don't wait. Don't think too much. Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Simple. Keep it simple. It's about that action. I love that. It's about action. Let's talk. More walking and less talking. So cool. So that is it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for flying here with us at the Global Travel Podcast. We are now safely landed. You can unbuckle your seatbelts, grab your belongings, and exit the cabin. And with that being said, thank you again, and see you guys on our next trip. If you would like to be a guest on our show and tell us about your travel experiences, then leave us a comment in the comment section below so we can reach out to you. Also, if you have any countries, states, or cities that you'd like us to review, please let us know so we can plan a trip there. Lastly, if you got some good value today and liked our podcast, please hit the like button and click subscribe so you can travel with us again next time. So subscribe right now because you don't want to miss the next trip. With that being said, over and out.